everyone. I'm making a Mother's Day card with one of the features that I hadn't used yet. I have the tool, and I'm not really sure how this popped into my head, but I thought, oh, I haven't done a card using Perforate. So I'm using a Maker 3, which the Maker, regular Maker, will use the same tool. So let's go ahead and create this. First, I chose a shape, and I liked the one that was rounded on the edge. I sized that to 3.75. I'm going to unlock that by 5. Now, just for the reason of me liking pink better than black, I'm going to go ahead and make this pink. We'll set that aside. Actually, let's go ahead and do the perforation, and then we'll do the little embellishment. So I went ahead and went into shapes, and I picked score. I actually wanted to perforate, so I'm going to come down here to perforate, and I'm going to change the size of this to 5.0. Bring that over. And I want it to end exactly where the curve meets the straight. Now let's go ahead and duplicate the perforation line. And I'll do the same thing here. So I have a confession. The layer that I'm creating here is actually, it's vellum, and I could not find my vellum adhesive anywhere, so I was using score tape, but I noticed you could see the score tape behind it. So I thought, I'm going to use the perforation and see if that will work better, and it actually did. Now, when I'm looking at this one, I want to move that over just a little bit more. That looks about right. All right, so I'm going to highlight this. And I'm looking at the size here. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so I need to attach it. So I'm going to go down to the bottom and attach. All right, let's put that away for a minute. That was my example. I'm going to ungroup this and bring this down. I don't really need to worry about that right now. I already showed you how to do that. Okay, then I'm going to highlight this and group it because I want to move it over. All right, so let's create the font. I'm going to do text, and it's going to say happy enter Mother's enter Day. Let's go ahead and move this up. Okay, we got this. Now I have to align it so that it's happy's here, Mother's in the middle, and day is in the middle bottom. So I've highlighted everything, and I'm going to center it. Now I don't like the way there's this big space in between here. So there's two things you can do here. You can ungroup it and size it the way you want it, or you can type the happy in separate, then the Mother's Day separate, and then the day separate. So I'm going to go ahead and ungroup this, but I'm going to group each individual word. So when I move it, I don't just move a letter, I move the entire word. And then I'll bring it up. There we go. I tried to get in the middle as much as I could because I already had aligned it. Sorry, I was thinking something here. So I don't like the way that's way up there like that. So I'm going to move that down. Up, move it over. And again. Okay, I'm better. I'm happy with that. All right, so let's go ahead and highlight everything, and I'm going to group that. Now I'm going to size it the same size as this here, I believe. Let me ungroup that for just a minute and click on the letters. And the size was, the height was 1.668. So I'm going to go ahead and group that again so I can move it over all in one piece. One piece is one piece. All right, so let's go ahead and highlight this. I'm going to go to the height and just duplicate that. Great. I'm going to pull this over here. I'm going to be using the offset feature on this. This, I need to let Cricut Design Space know that it is writing. Under the operations panel, it says pen. That is correct. But I don't want it to write the offset feature. I want it to cut it, so I need to let it know ahead of time. Not a print then cut. I did that by mistake. Basic. It doesn't like it. All right. I'm just going to keep going. Offset. I'll change it once the offset is created. We'll see how it turns out. That's not happened to me before. I do like the changes that Cricut Design Space makes, but sometimes it's hard to teach it old dog new tricks. It is a little slow this morning. There we go. That's nice. Okay, so it looks like it's covering. Let's make it just a little bit bigger. Make that 1.5. Now you can use the little circle on the bar to make it bigger or smaller, or you can do it manually. So that, I think, looks better. So let's go ahead and apply this. And I'm going to change the color of it, excuse me, to that burgundy color. And let's see if it'll let me change it to cut now. Yeah, there we go. Let's go back and change that color again. Great. Now I'm going to put that right on top of that. Now I noticed that the M on the offset is kind of not all the way on it. So let's go to the offset. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger and see if that makes a difference. Not sure why it's doing that. It's something new, so maybe they're working on it. It typically covers all of the letters. All right, I guess that's good, and no, I don't like it. So let's go back and see what happened here. I'm going to delete that offset. Pull this over, and I don't think I need to highlight it, but I'm doing it anyway. Offset. All right, it's doing it again, so let me make it a little bigger. No, it did it again. Okay, remember to save when you do this, because if you click off of it, it will go away. Okay, I'm going to change that color to the burgundy color that I chose, and then I'm going to come over to the operations panel and tell it that I want it to be a basic cut. Okay, some weird things are happening here. All right, so the M is just a little bit off. I'm not going to take up too much of your time at this point. We're just going to go ahead and make it and put the card together. Let's go ahead and group that. I want to come down and attach that as well. All right, let's go ahead and go over to the Cricut Maker 3 and put this together. Okay, so as I say when I make these funny mistakes, learn from them. So if you look up over here on the operations panel, it's saying print and then cut. And I want to use a pen. Whoops, I want to use a pen. So I guess when I created the text, I should have asked it to write. Oh, okay, let's go ahead and put this back. I'm using a really pretty gold pen on this. I wish that M would be covered a little bit more. Not sure what's going on with the offset feature. Not done that to me before. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do it, but I'm not happy with it. So, all right, let's go ahead, highlight that, and I'm going to attach it. Let's go to the Make It. I'm going to do On Matte. I already kind of talked about this a minute ago. What I don't want to do is have that being cut. So let's go ahead and hide all these. I'm just highlighting them and then clicking off the eye. And I think the perforation needs to be hidden too. Okay, let's detach this. I noticed when it was on the mat that the letters were all wonky. It is grouped and it is pen. So let's go over, bring it back, highlight that, attach it, and make it. Let's see what it looks like on the mat. This is new. I already mentioned this, but I wanted to show it to you now that I have the recording done. So there it is. Now it's going to come over here to the left. It's going to write it, and then it's going to cut it. So I need to put my gold pen in the maker's, I guess it's called a blade assembly. I'm not sure. So let's go and set that up. You'll see how it writes. All right, let's go ahead and get this cut out. It's going to be really pretty. Now, if you notice here, I've got my gold Cricut pen in the pen assembly, and it's a 1.0. I'm going to click continue. And just to be safe, let's go ahead and throw that on. I'm choosing 80-pound cardstock, and it's ready to go. Now keep in mind that offset was a little bit funky, so we'll see how it turns out. So what it does for the Maker 3 is it reads the size of the mat, and it's going to write it first. Now, suggestion, when you're using Cricut pens or any kind of pen, before you put it in the pen assembly, get a piece of scratch paper and just activate it or wake it up, because sometimes the pens dry out and you end up wasting your time because the pen isn't working. So right now it's finalizing and it's starting to draw. I'm going to do this in real time. Just let it do its thing. It shouldn't take too long because it's only 3 words. Yeah, I see that it wrote over the painter's tape. I'm glad I actually made an extra one off camera, but you'll see what it looks like in a minute. I didn't even think about that. I know that cuts through painter's tape. I should have thought about that. Almost done. Ta-da! Alright, so it's going to cut. I believe it's detecting make sure it's the right blade, which it is. Now the offset, if you don't want the little areas that it cuts as a default, you would have to click on the offset and go into contour and click on each little area that was going to be cut. Click on those and then it'll just be one solid piece. Alright, let's go ahead and unload this. You can see here why I did that. Let me pull this off the mat and show you. I'm so silly. See the little cuts right here? You can get rid of those when you go into the contour. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the card together. Alright, so this vellum is absolutely beautiful. We're going to use that to cut that one layer. Now there's 2 sides to it. One's kind of faded and one is not. Again, just playing it safe. It's a good mat. Get these little pieces off. But I do want to just be safe. I think maybe just one piece of tape this time, because that's sticking pretty good. All right, let's take a look at how the Maker does the layer and the perforation. Hang on, I'm just going to move it over a little bit. Okay, hopefully that'll work. Alright, so I'm over here on my laptop and I pulled up the pink layer with the perforation that we made. It's on the mat and I'll continue. Now it's going to tell me what tools I'm supposed to use, and it wants to perforate it first. I'm going to go ahead and take this out and put the lid on it so it doesn't dry up. So I get my perforation tool, this guy here. See, like it's kind of bumpy, or it's got spaces in between. And I'm going to switch that out. So it's going to perforate it first. Over on my laptop, I'm clicking continue. And this time I'm going to tell it to cut vellum. It's prompting me to put the perforation blade in and asking me to load it. It's going to check the tool, make sure I got the right one in there, and then read the size of the mat. I've got mail, and it's going to perforate first. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm not going to speed this up. I think for this one it'd be kind of cool just to watch it normally, but I will move it a little closer. All right, it's thinking about it. Actually, on the screen, my laptop screen, it says finalizing. Now, the perforation is very faint, which is okay. It's there. It just looks really super cool. Okay. Oh, I have no idea what I just dropped. Let's go ahead and put the blade in. It's prompting me on the screen. And say, cut it, detecting the tool. And it's going to cut it. Nice. Okay, all done. Let's unload it. Take it off the mat. Now we're done with the maker. I'm going to go over to this little small section of my craft table, close that up, and put the card together. Okay, now I don't know if the camera's going to be able to pick it up, but that's the perforation right there. Let's go ahead and use my score tape since my vellum adhesive is MIA. Find the end. There we go. And I'm making sure that the light side is up, not the more prominent color side. And I use that perforation as my guide as to where I'm putting that score tape. I had somebody compliment me on my cards once, and they asked me, how long do you usually take to make a card? I just kind of laughed and said, well, it takes me over an hour to make one card if I do it all the way from scratch, which means designing it and then cutting everything out. Some of them don't take that long. I'm going to be doing a video on that soon to show you a shortcut for a pretty card. Alright, so this cardstock is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to put that right there. I'm not going to push down on it yet because I want to make sure I have it even. Then I need a little bit more space up here. That looks about right. And then this is going to go on this pretty green cardstock. I don't know if you guys can see, it's kind of got like a rippley effect to it. Now I buy most of my paper and supplies at Michael's. It's the one thing that's closest to me where I live. So most of the time in my head I'm thinking, yeah, I got this at Michael's, you know. It's a Recollection name brand. But honestly, I don't know about this one. Whoops. A little bit too much glue. All right, we're just going to glue this whole thing on here. We're almost done with the card. I like using the glue so I can make the adjustments before it dries. Okay, so this was the one that I did previous, and this is the one that I did here on this video. So you see how I used the contour method and took all those little out. And this one just didn't, for some reason, don't know. This is a piece of very thick foam adhesive. I found it in my little stash, and I thought that would be pretty to just kind of pop that up. I mean, like really pop it up. Get that off there. And put that right there. Now just looking at this right here, I thought, I don't think that's enough. I'm going to pull out a little bit more gold by using these Recollections glitter circles. This is like a little tray, so I got to be careful. Oh, look at that. That was convenient. And I'm just going to drop that on there. Now, just a side note, for cards that are color on the inside, I will cut the inside and write on it on Cricut Design Space. Put that back together. All right, everybody, that's the card. Kind of some cool stuff that you saw there with the perforation, and then also the offset and the writing. Thanks so much for joining me today. Any questions or comments, do so in the comment section. And if you're new to my channel, it'd be great if you subscribed. If you click on the bell, you'll get alerts in your email that I've uploaded a video. So thanks again. One of the things that I wanted to say in my videos now that I'm doing is, if you have any questions about features or wanting to do something in Cricut Design Space, instead of watching a lot of videos that pertains to that particular project, just send me an email and we'll figure it out together, and hopefully I can help you. All right, everybody, have a great day.